GM, guys. GM. Let me get live and get going here in just a second. Give a chance for everybody to go ahead and hop in. Appreciate you guys hopping up. It is the 85th consecutive week that we have hosted these spaces. Wonky Weekly Alpha has been alive and well for the past 85 weeks. If you want to hop up on stage with us as a speaker, feel free to hit that request button. Typically, we just go through vibe, talk about whatever's happening in the market, whatever's happening, in the community, our lives, everything else. Really casual space, no pressure whatsoever, especially here on a Sunday evening. I know there is a lot happening across the world right now. We'll try to keep it pretty light in here. But yeah, Rooster, what's going on, my man?
What's popping? Just made some dinner, some jambalaya, so I'm about to dig into that.
Nice, man. I literally just finished eating right before this started as well. That's why I started 1 minute late. Because I had to make sure to go ahead and knock out the dinner, finish it before getting going. But yeah, man, it's been a busy weekend for me. Was on the road at the state fair for the weekend, so
I was
wasn't
about to
really
say I
able to
knew
do
exactly
too much.
what game you were at. Also, fuck you.
It's a good game, man. It was a good game. So, but yeah, so ended up having to push this back just a little bit, but we're still here on week number 85, which is pretty crazy. BTC Art, welcome up, my man. How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for asking. Can I ask, what was your favorite food? Fried food.
Oh, dude, I am a sucker for fried Oreos.
Yeah.
So, if I could find myself some double stuffed fried Oreos, though, I think they also did me in yesterday. I ordered $30 worth of them, and I ate them all.
Was that like 2 Oreos?
Actually, I take it back.
Sucker.
I gave away one of the things. I ate the other 2, which is only 6 double stuffed fried Oreos. But 6 double stuffed fried Oreos, I don't even want to know how many calories is in that. I just choose to ignore and pretend that they do not exist for that weekend. But inconsequentially from those actions, completely unrelated, stomach was feeling a little bit off later that evening and ended up turning it in just a little bit early.
Yeah, totally unrelated.
Completely unrelated.
Did you ever try the fried butter?
Oh no, dude! I feel like that's too much. No, I had a turkey leg. I had a couple of corny dogs. I had just about everything that you can think of. I guess not everything that you can think of. I didn't have fried butter. Well, I had a pretty solid spread of really high caloric, really greasy, going to probably weigh about 5 extra pounds when I step on the scale tomorrow morning type of food. So, feel good, feel completely recharged, glad to be back. Dev, what's going on, man? Welcome up.
Hey, guys. Yeah, doing good. How about you? Also wanted to ask, I know this is for Wonky, but how are you feeling about the recent drama surrounding Star Arena? I know you were one of the first big accounts that mentioned it, and you kind of helped it grow, and a lot of people followed it, and then they found this bug, and seems like they're relaunching, which is a good thing. But do you want to talk about it, how it went through, and what do you think about it? And do you think SocialFi is still gonna keep going, or do you think it's about to die?
Yeah, bro. I mean, we can hop straight in. I don't care. But And I'm probably going to host a space tomorrow focused just solely on like SocialFi and the discussion of how all that, because that was one of the things that was really frustrating about when this went down. I had zero opportunity to really be plugged in as everything was happening, which felt really frustrating. Whenever something like that is happening, feels kind of out of your control. You don't want to make it seem like you're just completely dodging the situation. But I literally had zero service for the majority of the day. Was a little bit inebriated for some of the day as well, catching up with some old friends. So it was just poor timing then traveling back today. So just getting plugged back into it. But yeah, man, I mean, that was definitely disheartening. I think that my first mistake initially was assuming that the contract was practically a clone / fork of Friendtech, and Friendtech, after having operated for a couple of months, and I assumed they obviously adjusted a few of the parameters because the bonding curve wasn't quite as steep, which I actually liked. But outside of that, it was like, okay, the Friendtech contract has been live, active, solid for a couple of months. This one had actually been live for nearly a couple of weeks prior to me joining it. So it was something, again, where you look at the combination of both and then you get on, and it was a completely different experience than anything Friendtech related, right? Like I think every single person that tried it out absolutely loved the arena. And still do, honestly. Like, it's kind of crazy that even with trading shut down, you go in there and there's still a lot of people active on the timeline there with it. So yeah, my initial reaction whenever I saw it, man, of course, was just, like shock and hurt kind of, because more so than myself, where, dude, I mean, I had nearly 6,000 AVAX of TVL that was locked on there. I never withdrew anything from the platform, reinvested everything. I really focused on grinding hard, doing things the right way, supporting a lot of the smaller accounts on there. And I worked my way up the ladder, I think, as a result of that. But like you said, I brought a lot of people to that platform. So I think that it was difficult seeing that, okay, here is a situation that right now, I mean, obviously it was at jeopardy. I mean, it still theoretically is until it is officially patched and back and running. But that, like, the loudest voices as far as the critics for people that were, had anything negative to say were all people that didn't bother to actually try out the platform, right? Every single person that tried out the platform that was on it, they all basically said, hey, like, we love this. We knew the risk coming into anything SocialFi related like this. You're in a beta phase for something that is new and trending, and it was fun, was different. And there are a lot of those people that are still sitting there, and that, I mean, initially everybody was like, okay, this fucking sucks, but we'll see what happens. But one of the other things that really assured me more of it as I was really, going out there and talking about it was the fact that Ava Labs, you have the president of Ava Labs, or of AVAX, or the founder of AVAX, and basically the entire Ava Labs team that is so invested in it on top of that, that it was just like, dude, regardless of what happens, especially that small, I was like, they are too invested to let this thing fail. Right. So that did give me some assurances going into it. And I think that we're seeing that effect right now as far as the response and the way that they're handling it. So I do think that it's one of those things where I hope that it takes a little bit of time before they fully relaunch any trading side of things. Like, that'll give me more confidence that they are doing things the right way. They're not rushing to get things out just for the sake of saying, hey, we want to keep this momentum going. I like that they have the front end open right now, though it's as slow as it occasionally got before. So there are obviously a lot of improvements, but that's going to be any of these SocialFi apps. So I think that, the way I look at it going forward, I still think SocialFi is going to be something that's trending. It's too early to say what exactly is going to win out in any of these. Obviously, I think Friendtech has a first mover advantage that's really difficult to topple. But I don't think that that means that it's just going to go away. I think that we're going to see evolutions and iterations of this that could even eventually lead into the gaming sphere, right? Like there are a lot of potential applications that I think that we're seeing from these integrations. And I don't think it's just going to go away overnight, right? Like this is bouncing back. We're going to see, I really think that it'll see another surge as long as they are cautious and do things the right way, make sure the contract is fully audited, like build out the team from the developmental point of view, add to their devs. Like, I just don't see how, I think there's a decent chance that it does bounce back, right? Like, so we'll see, man. I mean, it's been a wild ride the past. I think the biggest learning that I have from that is just, going into it, again, confirming that, hey, with an app like that, rather just assuming it is a complete clone, which, you go through it, not complete clone, but as far as the contract being a clone, just, like finding a way to be able to dive in, double check that type of stuff. But, I think that's one of the risks of the space. You don't know 100% with anything new going into it. So I think making that a little bit clearer as well. But I don't know. It's a long ramble. It's kind of my take.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I kind of agree with the fact that having AVAX, also kind of intervene, maybe like give people a lot of reassurance about this. But I wanted to have your opinion about something. In crypto, like anytime there is this a new type of a project that is launched or a new platform, there's always copycats, But in 2020, we had like Wi-Fi, then all those forks that just popped up overnight. Then we had like something like GameFi with Axie. Then all the clones just started appearing. Then something like Steppen that came in, and all the again it got forked to death. So we keep having like new projects that are launching something that's really hype, and of course it's crypto. So the next day, 100 projects will just copy it and try to reproduce the main success. But the main thing that we've seen is that none of those clones usually last. They just die really fast, and people and obviously people just use them and knowing that they will die fast, so they're trying to capitalize as much as possible. I've done that. I do it still with like a lot of tokens. But do you really think that this time with SocialFi, since Friendtech was pretty much, like you said, the first mover, do you think any of the clones have a chance to survive? Because we, in the previous weeks, we had like another one, like PostTech, that was just apparently like, a copy of Twitter. I tried it for a day and everybody was raving about it. Then it just disappeared. Nobody talked about it. And then Star Arena came and the same thing happened. So do you think that Star Arena will actually, I don't know, break the curse or just follow the same pattern that we've been seeing for the past few years?
So if you would have asked me, and again, this is like why I was so hyped on it. I think the product experience is what makes a true difference in SocialFi versus some of these other areas. It was a completely different product experience. They were not this, like maybe the contract as far as the bonding curve and stuff were very similar concepts, but the actual products themselves were completely different. Right. And that was why I was so bullish and honestly still am on Star Arena. I still think that it has a solid chance of being able to back or excuse me. I'm sorry. I still, I think my throat still is hurting from a little bit of the cheer in this weekend. But anyway, I still think that it does have a solid chance of actually bouncing back. It's obviously going to be more difficult to be able to capitalize on the momentum that they had initially prior to this. But something happening this early in the experience, I still think can be viewed, if they do it the right way, it has to be done the right way, but as a potential positive in the long run, right? If you're saying that you were able to bond together, find the funding for something like this, completely rehaul the security of the contract, focus on doing things the right way and coming back. Again, it just comes down to the product experience being that much different. And there were a couple other things that I did like about it as well. But one of the things that SocialFi, I think SocialFi right now is kind of the early stages that we saw for NFTs, where NFTs, you could get away with high royalties without really too much repercussions because there weren't too many other ways around it. There weren't competitors where you could really outsource the trading of those products. But I think there might be something down the road tinkering with lower fee, but a fee-based economy is what drives people there as well. I don't know, man, but to answer your question, yes, I do think that there is an opportunity, right? Because if you're talking about SocialFi, the primary experience is what drives people to stick socially, right? And what brings the greatest level of interest and interaction and engagement. So it's not just the investment side. You have a marriage between the two. So you have to look and see, okay, what is the thing that is actually able to generate the longest lasting participation, right? So I think it's a marriage of all that. And I do think that, hey, even if it's not Star Arena, there's a potential with that space that there could be a competitor for it. Because if you're looking at social platforms in the past, I mean, hey, if we stuck with Zanga and MySpace, right? Like, the world would be a completely different place, right? And because they worked, right? They worked. But did that mean that they were the optimal experience for the user? Did the user actually enjoy going on there as much as they did something else? So I think that you can see something similar in SocialFi, where you can have different categories and products. Again, I think that what FriendTech was focusing on was different than what Star Arena was focusing on. So that's where I really see the potential for growth in the category, something worth exploring, is just looking into seeing, okay, how is this entire area evolving? And I look back to my participation in the early days of DeFi summer back in 2020, and I was non-existent. I watched this entire movement happen from the sidelines without really getting a true understanding of what was happening and participating in a bunch of the different farms and a bunch of the different coins that ended up exploding. And my knowledge gap to look for like leading indicators of, hey, what could be the actual next new thing was behind a lot of other people's, because I refused to actually participate. So I look at this as something where I'm like, man, there is something that can be really sticky here. So that's really my interest as far as like looking into it, engaging, and wanting to look in and see it further. I mean, for instance, dude, I had better engagement on Star Arena than I did on X. Like for a couple days, I legitimately did on the posts. Like I posted a couple things about Wonky Stonks, and I had a couple people. I think there were some people that literally went and responded and ended up sweeping some Wonkies because of the fact they saw it on Star and not because of X, right? So I definitely do think there's potential for it. I don't think it's just as easy as saying, oh, it's the exact same thing, and they're just trying to knock it off and change a couple parameters. Like there are different platforms that focus on different experiences.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, yeah, I'll let you get back to Wonky Stonks. Thanks again.
No problem, man. No problem. But yeah, so again, I didn't mean to turn this into a SocialFi space. I really didn't. But yeah, just to not act like I'm dodging any questions about any of that stuff. So let's see. Ned, what's going on, man? How you been?
I'm chilling, guys. I'm chilling. I also enjoyed the Stars Arena, and I think you were right saying what you did about how the experience is going to win out. It was really like easy to use. I don't know. The app was like clunky because like I was trying to use it through my phone and everything, and like it definitely does feel like you're playing a game and doing beta testing or something. Um, but I believe in them. I don't know. I just yeah, having a good day, having a good weekend. Watch the sports, and very excited to be watching preseason basketball. So also very hyped for So Rare to come back, which I know is another thing that you're big on and something that I got from you. So I don't know. I'm kind of game planning strategies for that while also just being a nerd and watching endless hours of preseason basketball. Go Pistons!
Go Pistons! I am so sorry, man. I didn't
Sorry
know
for
you were
what,
going
bro?
through that.
Sorry for what?
Like,
Sorry for what, Kaleo?
dude, just that is some pain over,
No, it's
the
not.
past
We're gonna be
decade
good.
plus.
Cade Cunningham is the future. We're all right. Jalen Duren, the youngest player in the NBA last year, that dude is a monster, and I love him. Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, he tied the game today. Like the preseason, it's a preseason game. They were not playing like the actual Suns. Yeah, I don't know. I'm I'm
So
I'm hyped.
what's
I'm
the
Pistons
Pistons
filled.
record this year? Give it to me.
Oh
Do they have a
man,
chance at the play-in?
I think they have a chance of the play-in. I'm not trying to put high expectations because we're doing it the right way. You know, like the way that the Suns not the Suns, the Thunder started their rebuild. I think we're kind of in the same spot as them, even though obviously they've got Chet and Shea is incredible. But I think maybe one more year of not being the best, and we'll be ready to start fighting. I was really hype when we got Monty, and I don't know what he did to the Suns a couple of years ago, taking them from being absolute garbage and bringing to the point where they were getting wiped by Giannis in the finals. I don't know. I'm a believer, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, I think they've got a shot of doing something. We'll see. I'm just
You're
giving you a hard time, man.
no, which I
It's been
sincerely
a slow
appreciate.
rebuild.
No,
So,
for sure.
but
We
yeah,
lived through the
like that is
Blake
another
years.
one that I'm looking forward to making a comeback as well. And honestly though, I think there's, even when you look at the experience of any type of fantasy sport in this space, there's a lot of potential for growth there as far as making it a bit more decentralized, right? I think that there's a lot of opportunity. Can you imagine like a fantasy sports league with bonding curves on separate players? And all like I think that would be the best way of issuance for, but then again it may be a little bit difficult because anyway, like there are a lot of different concepts that I think some of the stuff from the social fi arena could be translated over in a gamification manner. I'm not sure exactly the best way for doing that, but I think that there are some real applications of that stuff moving forward, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody does take that leap. I mean, in the meantime, again, I enjoyed the So Rare experience. I'm actually looking forward to the NBA. I tried to get into the MLB, but like honestly, man, I'm not a big baseball guy. I mean, I like
I
baseball. I'm an October fan.
No, I also tried to do the MLB thing, and I could not, man. I don't pay attention to enough games, but no, with So Rare, man, I'm really excited because I think it's going to be around for a while, right? Like I went really hard on getting rookie cards. I thought they had a lot of value. I picked up obviously my beloved Pistons rookies, and I'm sorry for being Pistons pilled and shouting about that on here. Um, but no, I picked up a bunch of rookie cards, and then their recent announcement, they said something about how rookies would play rookie cards or whatever would play a part of however they were doing scoring and everything. And I think it's the new future of collectibles. You know, like we had Top Shot, and that was kind of cool, but also like, what is the benefit there other than having a highlight that you can kind of just go see on YouTube? You know what I mean? I never really got the Top Shot craze. But I think So Rare is going to be one of the ones that's here to stay, And yeah, you're going to need a Cade Cunningham card to have any chance of having anything to do with my awesome team. So good luck this year.
Well, best of luck to you with it, man. Hey, switching pace a little bit on the topic of stonks. I mean, it's been another solid week. So looking at it, the past like 2 weeks, realistically, we started having a little bump up, a little bit of fun on the 28th. So over the past week and a half, actually, heck, realistically looking at it from the 25th until now, the average sales price on the 25th was down to 0.07. There were a lot of WETH offers, I think, toward that time frame. The average sales price recently, is been right around 0.165, 0.17. Slowly chipping away toward that 0.19 wall. And, it's one of those things, I think, slowly but surely, once we blast past that, I really don't think there's any looking back, man. And I really love it. I think it's one of those things where just like that slow accumulation is healthy accumulation. It's healthy growth. And there have been
are you trying to say that stonks are inevitable?
Stonks are inevitable, right? Like they are a blue chip. They will be a blue chip. They will be universally considered that. Like I believe in the art. I believe in y'all. I believe where everything is headed, right? Like it's been nearly 2 years. The 19th is a 2-year anniversary. Like we would have died a long time ago if we were going to die. This is like they're not going anywhere. And I realistically, I look at like the way that things like SocialFi are trending and how quickly some of that price action can actually move whenever something does trend. That type of confidence will eventually return to the NFT space, right? And I think at that point in time, what we've seen with NFTs in the past, whenever they start moving, you don't really have time to accumulate like what you do right now. So it's one of those things where NFTs are boring until they're not, right? And I think that we're getting closer to the not phase than what people think. It may take another several months or so, but I think there are a lot of people that basically have called for the death of NFTs, and that's just ridiculous to me.
Should we do red triangles?
Red triangles?
Yeah, it's the AVAX. Should we stand?
Do what with the red triangle?
Bro, I'm not sure if I'm
What?
tripping, but I heard actual crickets in the background.
I actually did just hear some actual crickets too, but it wasn't
there
until
were
you
definitely
unmuted.
crickets.
So I think it might be at your house, Rooster.
Red triangles. You know red
That's
triangles.
false.
Dude, I know red triangles, but again, I'm just like, Crow, I do not follow the logic gap for throwing out like red triangles and saying what it has to do anything with this.
Yeah, and also they're called
AVAX.
red coins.
That's the AVAX. It's the AVAX thing, right?
No.
But what about AVAX? I get it's the AVAX thing. What is the connection?
Because that's the social. That's the arena. We're in the AVAX.
But then do what with red triangles?
Red triangles is the AVAX symbol, and we're in the arena.
Bro, how high are you right now, Crow?
Eagles gotta win. My man's talking about the Detroit Pistons. I'm saying the Eagles. Eagles
Like,
gotta
bro,
win. The Phillies
how
in
high
the
are you right
playoffs. I'm doing good. Everything's good over here. But I'm saying if we all need to do, if the stonk people need to do red triangles, then we should do it. That's what I'm saying. That's all.
Dude, I
Are you
still have no
suggesting
idea
we
what
put
he's saying.
stonks on AVAX?
I still have no idea. But
The
I
red
think he's saying that we
triangles,
need
man.
to
That's what the
migrate
people
to
put their
AVAX.
profiles. The AVAX people, they put the red triangles in their profile.
Crow, do you own 7 red triangles yet?
Not yet. No, not yet. No.
Oh,
no.
speaking of ENSs, Claire, did you see the recent ENS purchase I did?
No, I did not. What was
I
it?
got starsarenahacker.eth. Sorry to do it to everybody.
Oh my goodness, dude, that's incredible.
I feel like Crow. What would you say that value wise? Something like 267,000 AVAX, right?
I don't know, more than the 3 million that was stolen.
Man. You know what really throws me off? I'm not sure if you guys see this. Shout out to Hanks in the audience right now with perpetual hand raised. I was trying to figure out for a minute how in the world he raised a hand from the audience. But, it took me a second to finally realize it's in his PFP. But after I realized it, it's still my mind triggers. And I want so badly to call out, Hanks, what's going on, man? Like, Hanks, welcome up to the stage. Hanks, what's going on, brother? What's good in your life right now? Especially speaking of red triangles, Hanks with his hand up has a red triangle. It's like I can't do that. My brain immediately goes over to it because if I put the hand up, I want to see what the difference is. It's the exact same thing, right? There's no difference in the sizing between my hand up right now and yours. That is perfectly photoshopped on there. So, I mean, shout out to you for that. That is my Hanks rant. But yeah, like, I don't know. Am I the only one seeing this that it's thrown off?
I mean, I see it now.
Hi,
I
Hanks.
wasn't crowd stalking though.
It's brilliant.
So, no, but shout out to Hanks for that. That's awesome. Rooster, I got to ask, man, how did the parlays go this weekend?
I actually refuse. I haven't made any bets because they're trying not to give me my money right now. So I ran up my account, but of course, now they don't want to give me my money. So I've been interrogated by their, I don't know, security board already. Like, such a hassle. So I still have to deal with that. And then now, like, when I created the account, I lived at a different address, and now they're going to be like, oh, you're definitely lying to us, because now I'm going to have to change my address too. So honestly, I haven't made any bets this week.
Wow, man, I'm impressed. How's it felt? Like, are you getting any PTSD right now watching the games this weekend without any money on the line? Or are you
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
actually able to take a break finally away from the screen? What have you done with your life with the extra time?
Yeah, I've actually have been able to take a little break, but I've also, phantom bet, right? So I'll be like, oh, this is what I would have done this week, and a couple hitters, couple losers. So I'm just trying to get my money out of fucking Bet Online. Fuck them. Also, yeah, someone told me they were no KYC, so like I signed up with not my real name, and then I try to withdraw my money, and they're like, "Send me your ID." I'm like, "Here we go."
Bro, I'll say is like that was one thing that was nice, kind of what you're talking about taking a little break. That was the only nice thing for me about the only silver lining about when all this went down from the SocialFi stuff with the Stars Arena. I actually finally was able to catch up on a tiny bit of sleep this weekend and actually be able to step away from the phone a little bit without having this incredible FOMO during the course of the game and the driving and the everything else. Definitely increased my safety on the road. But yeah, I finally was able to take a tiny bit of a break, and I'm like, man, honestly, I needed that. I was spending like 16 hours a day, bro, prior.
Now Hans is getting me. Yeah, now he's getting me.
All right, what's up, bro? I see. I don't know if he has his hand up or not. Like, this is gonna be difficult. You just have to unmute yourself if you ever want to speak. I can't just hand it over. It's impossible.
Man, what's up, Kaleo?
Yo, what's up, man?
I'm chilling, bro. I just came out to appreciate the shout out. Man, much love on coming on Red Chain and giving us a spark, bro. I'm glad you enjoyed the app. Hopefully it shake back. We'll see.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Again, I'm optimistic right now. But if there's anything I've learned in this space, you don't count anything as done until it's done.
Yeah, they gotta get the contracts up and running.
That's it, man. That's it. So we'll see. Dude, I think it's going to be an interesting week in the markets regardless of all that stuff, right? Like, I'm not going to get into everything happening with the war. Super sad to see all this stuff happening right now. But either way, anytime there is times of major conflict, right, like that, leads to economic uncertainty. Look at like what happened when Ukraine and Russia first dropped. The market did drop for a little bit. You saw certain defense names that ended up rallying, but the market as a whole ended up dropping some. Could see something similar happening here. So again, don't want to like it. That's the thing that's so difficult about this topic. When you talk about price action, it seems so cold and so heartless. And it is, but like, how do you get around when you're talking about what's happening in the markets and the potential effects that's happening globally? You can't get around it. And, again, so my heart goes out to everybody there, and I don't want to dive too much into it, but, it's going to be an interesting week. I think it's smart if anybody is trying to, like, lever themselves to the tits with all of this going on, probably best not to, have some type of restraint with it. I think it's one of those things, just stack high conviction spot plays and chill, honestly.
Yeah, the best play right now is the good old stables of wonkies. Pretty much never go down, only chop or go up.
That's it, man. Stonks are inevitable, slowly but surely. I mean, hey, we're slowly climbing back toward flipping some of the favorite projects that are out there. Slowly but surely trending in that direction.
I did tell people to buy stonks, or Kaleo will refund you if something happens. So just be ready, man.
Actually, we have the dev chart backing guarantee. That's one of the things that Dev came up here on stage today to discuss, was the refund guarantee that Dev is planning on partnering with. I didn't even request this, but he said he's got 1,000 ETH backstop ready to protect the project if necessary. So, Dev, if you want to dive a little bit more into that, please, let us know. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I was reading the terms. It said anybody can get, up to a 10 ETH loan with 0% APR. So I thought it was pretty solid.
Really generous, Dev. Don't see what your end game here is, but really, really appreciate it. So yeah, I'll open up the floor for you.
Dude, I can already see like the 20 tweet thread tomorrow about like 2 influencers trying to pump and dump an NFT project, and and like people just trashing us,
Dev, I've hosted these spaces for 85 weeks. Right? Like, what happens in here happens. Like, there's no pumping and dumping. It is what it is, right? Like, if I were pumping and dumping this shit, it would have happened 84 weeks ago.
Yeah, we've had.
No, I know, but like, like some people just just will look at that. Like, I remember last year there were a few, friends that were in a few projects, and I would just go when they will shield their project. I would just go, like, hey, it looks cool. I'll take a look at it, and then my comments would just get filled like, he's trying to pump his own bags. Look at that scammer. This, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm just commenting. Like,
how many Wonky Stonks do you have?
It's been scarred ever since.
Say again?
How many Wonky Stonks do you have, Dev?
A fuck ton. I'm not gonna say the exact number because it will be pretty easy to dox my wallet. But yeah, a fuck ton. And I got a fuck ton by mistake. I just put like a buy order and it got filled like 2 months later. Like, I never expected the price to reach the buy, like the level where I put that buy order.
0.1, right?
But yeah, like a little below that.
Well, it's a good thing we don't already know who 19 out of the top 20 wallets are. So I think you're in good hands.
That's you, huh? You're fucking us, man. You're fucking us.
No, but yeah, like, dude, like I think I just checked my wallet like 2 months later, and I'm like, what the fuck are these? And then I remember, I actually put some money into stocks. and I just forgot about it. You know, it's a wallet that I don't really use. So
well, you're welcome, man. It's going to be one of the best returns that you get. You know,
I,
any investment during the bear market.
and you know what? When it happened is when MetaMask pushed that upgrade that they added that new sub menu for NFTs. You know, in the past they didn't have that, right? You only had tokens and transactions, but I think like they added also a new menu for NFTs where you could just click on that menu and it will display, you know, a visual of all the NFTs that you own. And it was around that time that MetaMask just like pushed that thing, and I'm like, oh, I actually have some Wonky Stonks. Yeah.
Hey, Kaleo,
I love
can we
that.
make sure we give BTC the stage? I want to hear if he has anything to say.
Yeah. Okay, we'll bring it back to him whenever he has his hand up. How about that, man? Like,
you know what's good? Sorry, I got a little preoccupied there. I was pouring the rest of my wine into my coffee cup, my Waffle House coffee cup that I just love to drink out of, and listening to you beautiful humans talk about nonsense, and I love it. What was the question?
I just want to hear your beautiful voice, and if you had a blessing for us,
Crow is
you may.
very high right now,
I'm very
and he
high.
wanted to hear your voice.
If you can bless it.
Crow, I'm so happy that you're so high, and I bless you, and I hope you have a good come down, sleep like a baby. How's the Northeast these days?
The Phillies are winning, the Eagles are winning. Hanging out with my old man, like we're doing really good up here right now. The air is cool and nice. It's beautiful.
Oh, that sounds like a bowl's about to kick off when I hear that.
That's the most Philly thing I've ever heard, is being asked how are you doing, and the first answer being the Eagles are winning.
Exactly.
that's
Yo,
literally
5-0,
the
baby,
most Philly thing I've
5-0.
ever
Let's
heard.
go.
Have you been working on your sit to stands?
I've had foot problems lately, actually. Yeah. No, so
Oh, okay.
no. My upper body's
Okay.
stronger, but your lower body is still stronger. It's true.
You know, I can hear foot problems lead to posture problems.
I know, and I can't be talking. I have to have perfect posture to give everybody else a hard time. Everybody,
your foot posture is struggling.
Deep breath and sit up straight. It's good for your body, good for your soul.
Appreciate that, Crow. Let's go ahead, kick it over to Chris O. Had his hand up. Welcome back, Chris.
Hey, evening, fellas. I thought it was very, what's the word? Prophetical. I don't even know if that's a word or not. Prophetical. When BTC was saying he was pouring a glass of wine, I actually just poured myself a glass of wine. But I did want to give him a shout out. I did get his Wonky Stonk NFT, so thank you very much, sir. That was greatly appreciated. I did receive it, and that was very generous of you and your folks. So thank you so much for that. That was unexpected and pretty awesome. So thank you. And then Eagles fans actually exist. I'm shocked.
5 wins, 0 losses.
So hey man, I want to give all the credit to Brills. Man, he heard me say I wanted to give you a stonk, and he hopped on our chat and said, "No, I want to give one because I've been so blessed by the community, and somebody had given him one or two, I don't know, but he was super adamant, like I want to be the one that gets to give someone a stonk." And that's just how everybody rolls. But yeah, hey, what a privilege.
I appreciate that. So this is my commitment: is I'll never flip that. That thing will stay in my wallet, and if it ever goes out of my wallet, it'll be for a philanthropic cause. So yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, that was very generous of everybody, and thank you for doing that.
And there it is on the floor. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Hey, man, just be blessed, dude. I bet half the people on this stage are stonk owners have gotten one from someone at some point. So welcome to the community, bro.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I think Stonks out of every single other NFT project have been the most gifted NFT to date.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Did you guys? So, what do you guys thought?
Just part of the vibe, man. Just part of the vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, welcome to the community officially, Chris. Love that.
So, what's to get me? What's to get me? What are the special perks? You gotta buy like 10 more.
Win utility.
Win
utility.
So here's the deal. The Wonky Stonks roadmap is simple. We vibe and then we vibe harder. The utility is the art. Yeah. So, like, that's it, man. I mean, the utility is the art, which I think is the best meta in the entire space, obviously, which is why I've stuck with it for the past 2 years from day one. Never have promised anything else outside of that. That's what it's been. That's what it always will be, man. Because at the end of the day, my whole view on everything with this space is if you develop a community and a collection that's around utility is very easy to become outdated. It's very easy for people to lose interest in it because they're like, oh man, this isn't what I expected it to be. Somebody else has come out and done it better. It's something that isn't as transcendent as just art is. So if you can bring, Hank's great having you up, man. If you can bring together a community of people that believe and appreciate the art and the story behind a project, it may be slower growth to be able to get to that point of recognition and full mainstream adoption. But I think once you are there and once it is recognized in that light, it is much easier to fade away, or much more difficult to fade away, I should say.
We got something going on here, that's for sure. Nobody can deny that. We got something going on here.
Agreed. And then I think that the key word is utility. How do we define that, and then how do you export that, right? We're the utility, the friendships we make along the way, right? The connections we have in AVAX now, because Caleo's a big time AVAX guy, so we got big connections in the AVAX community now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. Those that. By the way, Calio, that was the worst timing in the world. I saw all the tweets in the last 24 hours. I was like, Jesus Christ. If he had planned it, it couldn't have worked out any worse. That was such unfortunate circumstances. That was bizarre timing.
Dude, like you said, you wrote a bunch of tweets, and I think you went to bed, and then the hack happened, and I saw everybody just started shitting on AVAX, and I'm like, oh god, Kaleo is just gonna wake up to something horrible.
Yeah, honestly, looking back on it was kind of funny because here I am. I feel so vindicated and so just, complete about the work that I've been putting in and really putting everything back into it, right? Where, putting my money where my mouth is on the app. There are a lot of people that stepped in, basically farmed the fees and stepped away. And that is what it is, right? And they can walk away from the situation scotch-free or scot-free. But again, here I am. I put out a post about, hey, it's been a great day. I'm finally going to give myself the opportunity to get a good night's sleep, which I have not in days, which was completely true. And I think within 15 minutes of me sending that out, I completely passed out. I did not wake up for hours, but within 15 minutes of me passing out is when the hack happened. So yeah, it was definitely a rude awakening. Looking back on it now that everything looks like it's going to be resolved, And I'm optimistic about it. Kind of funny looking back on it, but at that point in time, it could not have been worse timing as far as setting it. Actually, maybe it was the best timing possible, because had I been awake when it happened, I would not have slept a wink that night.
Yeah, that was funny as fuck. But yeah, in that kind of situation, you were probably in the optimal situation. That was the best of a worst situation for sure. That was when I looked at it and I looked at the timeline. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is unfortunate.
The best meme was Pintoshi's. That was a pretty good one. Due to what did it say? Like, due to smart contract complications, Kaleos died. Some shit like that. Was funny.
Yeah, there. That, like, actually, my favorite was Rektashi's. Like, Kaleo, don't open the app. I think that one was pretty dang good.
Fucking crypto. Fucking crypto.
That's the thing, man. I mean, this space is just wild, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, everybody, again, you go back toward the way everything was approached there. I don't think there's anything that anybody can look back on. Everybody involved, there's no, it is what it is, right? Like, it was part of it. You learn from it as far as, like what I talked about earlier, but it's all you can do. You learn, you move on. And yeah, I actually
good.
still am optimistic about where it's headed.
You're good. Just speaking from the Wonkies, your squeaky clean reputation is why the Wonky Stonks aren't unfuddable. I'm done talking.
I feel like in that same vein, though, like things that have a tough time in the beginning, like Fudgy Penguins, it had to be bought by Luca for it to really take off and be where it's at today. I feel like these not ideal experiences in the beginning of the arena are just proof that it's going to come back stronger. And same thing with the vibes of Stonks and people just showing up, having a good time, and that's the utility. I feel like the more people have exposure to it, the more people try it out, the more popular it'll be.
Amen, man. So, definitely will be interesting to watch how things recover from that. But, throughout everything else, again, going back to what the theme of the month is, Wonky Stonks are inevitable, man. 2-year reunion coming up here in a couple of weeks. That doesn't mean that there's going to be some immediate propellant for some catalyst for immediate growth, right? What it does mean, though, is I think it's an incredible milestone, just the resilience of the community, the resilience of the art and the project itself. I'm bullish on the future. I'm bullish on you guys. We're not going away.
I'm bullish on everybody too. It's really beautiful.
Also heard
thing.
if you
we can all we should pat ourselves on the back of it.
Yeah, Khalil,
if you own a Wonky Stonk,
do you do any events to like get new people to join into Wonky, like giveaways and stuff like that, or not really?
There are no in real life events, no anything like that officially from the project.
I'm not talking about parties and stuff like that. Just like giveaways and like stuff to introduce newbies into Wonky Stonks.
Nance has hosted 85
Where have you been?
weeks of Space Diz.
Bro, I've done a shit ton of that. Like, I do that I've done that every week for longer than 85 weeks, multiple times a week. So yes, I constantly do it, and I think these guys can vouch for that.
No, those are the spaces. Like, not everybody joins the space. Come on, man. Like,
not just the spaces, dude. I've done giveaways. I do other things talking about the songs as it goes. I think it's one of those things where you really ask yourself, how much can you force the hand as far as, like being organic versus pushing something. And I try to do as much as I can to stay organic with it.
You do perfect. You do perfect walking that line. Perfect.
So that's my thing, man. Again, just, continue to stay organic, not really force anything, and just let natural growth happen. And, it's one of those things where I think that what you've seen with projects that force inorganic growth, with overhyped events and stuff, is you've seen quick die-outs that are really difficult to see any type of revival from, versus I think that doing a slower, longer, steadier growth leads to a sturdier foundation, which in the long run, and if you have a long-term vision, is healthier for the project.
And we rock
just
solid.
Look at the
rock solid over here.
Top 50 list. I mean, the top 50 stockholders are all pretty active in the community, mostly solid people. It's just a slow, steady grind. It's been building a great community.
We're circling the wagon right now. We out here.
But Lumber is the captain now, sitting at 250 stonks. So I don't know what the board members think the next step forward is.
So, guys, being new to the Wonky Stonks, how did you guys pick the charts for the art? I'm curious about that. What was
so we actually had a team of 3,000 people that went through, curated different charts from different stocks and crypto related things during 2021. And, I'm just fucking with you, man. No, these were all completely algorithmically generated. So it is pure generative art. So that's what ensures each and every one of them is 100% unique from the other. So yeah, they were completely algorithmically generated, from the price action to the traits to everything else about it. So they were not taken from, but that's one of the beautiful things about it, right? An algo wrote it, but it mimics real price action. When you look at it, I still, as a trader, get a visceral reaction as far as some of the imagery to saying, oh man, this reminds me of whatever experience from looking at whatever chart back in the day.
Yeah, I looked at the one I got. I looked at it and he goes, yeah, that feels about right. So
was
yeah.
Was it a chart of your portfolio?
Yeah, more or less. Down hard.
I love that. So
we're doing fine, but still down hard. We're doing fine, but down hard. Yeah.
Those
aren't we all? Except for Rooster, apparently. Rooster apparently has just found a way to defy the odds throughout the bear market.
Oh, unicorn.
Rooster's the unicorn for sure, and he can't get his money out of his gambling account because he didn't KYC apparently.
Oh,
at this current moment.
That's the conundrum.
So, which one did you get, by the way? Do you know what type of chart it was, or what indicator?
You know what? Let me look at it right now. That's the beauty of technology. You can actually look at it right.
You got a free one and you didn't even look at it?
I've looked at it, but I don't have a.
To be fair, it's tough to memorize every trait after your first time looking at it. BTC,
No, for sure. I still don't even know what I have. I just buy.
That's what I do.
BTC still posts NFTs at our.
Oh, here we go. Oh, you know what? Actually, the chart I'm looking at is pretty fair. It's plus or minus 5%, which for crypto is you're breaking even. So I don't know if I'm gonna dox myself or anything, but I got the Wonky Stonks 3450. It's a cool one. I like it.
Awesome. Yeah, like Rooster said, sometimes there's ones I just can't afford, like that hoodie frog. I'll just take it and just pretend it's mine. So you don't even have to actually own one. That one. You can just pretend you have any other one.
You know what? It's actually a cool
my
concept.
My brother's Twitter account got hacked, and it was by somebody who was doing some kind of NFT scam, and they replaced his PFP with a mutant and started tweeting, and he kept it. After he got his account back, he's just like, oh, this looks like a really poor imitation. It looks really bad, but I'm still going to rock it as the PFP because somebody hacked my account. So honestly, kind of respected that.
Beautiful.
What had me cracking up was like under one of Kaleo's posts one time, someone like was like, "This is my stonk," and then someone else with the same stonk was like rocking it as their PFP, like 2 comments below. So
Dude,
like
I rock. I like when I tweet out stonks, I don't just tweet from my collection. I tweet from across the collection, man. So there are people that get visibility to their stonk, like, because the way I look at it is, hey, somebody else is getting visibility. If I'm not using mine and I'm shouting it out, like, somebody else's stonk is getting some public visibility here. So
no, it wasn't one that you were shouting out. It was like someone was like, "Oh, this is mine and I love it," and then someone else in the comments, like 2 people were sporting the same
oh
stonk.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we're like, something ain't adding up here.
So how does it feel coming up on 2 years, full years?
It kind of doesn't feel real, man, that it's been 2 years. It kind of just makes me feel a little bit old. The past 2 years have been wild ups and downs, but I feel like the stonks are really throughout it all. One thing that's remained pretty constant, not just the price, but though they have been the most constant thing price wise as far as anything else too. So, yeah, man, I mean, everything else, it's kind of crazy, but it's actually really exciting. I was talking to Hondo about this the other day, just the potential for what we can really build with LedgArt in the bull market from just doing things the right way with the stonks. It's all about building that initial brand, being very, very slow and steady and consistent with the growth, approaching things the right way, and then building that. Like, the solid core community is invaluable, right? There's so many projects that launch that wish that they could have what we have there as a core catalyst. And, it's not something that just happens overnight. So I'm pumped about the future. If there's anything about it is, hey, we've survived 2 years through a lot of shit. The next 2 years are going to be fun.
I'll cheers to that. I was around for the Mount Gox bear cycle, and holy crap, I really feel that this bear cycle was worse than that one. And given that Mount Gox bear cycle, I felt like it was possible crypto was not going to recover. And this one, I was like, with the SEC and FTX and everything in between, I was like, holy crap, this is like, I feel like it was worse. I don't know. Callie, what do you think?
What's this bear market everyone's been talking about?
Right?
See, my definition of a bear market is realistically just that stretch before the parabolic move starts, right? And I think right now we've just been ranging in that base range for a while. So, looking at it, probably anywhere under this 30K area, probably even under 40K. Like, I think the bear market ends when we finally make that push from 30 to 40K. That's probably where, in my mind, I'll be saying, oh, there's a good chance that we're actually getting out of this.
Yeah. 32. If we go over 32, we're good.
But yeah, there have been a lot of mini bull markets in different areas in the midst of the bear market. So hey, there's been opportunity to be found.
Right now is an opportunity. Like, we're sitting here right now. Like, this is the time. This is the time.
That's
right
deep,
now.
Crow.
I agree. I would defy anyone to think that next year, 2024, with the U.S. presidential elections, if you think the incumbents are now going to pump the economy like overload so that they can get reelected, you're high. Completely high. They're going to supercharge this system.
There was someone with Satoshi's, how he did the every 4 years. The presidential election, like, this wasn't by accident.
Oh,
before we dive too deep into the political spectrum, as much as I would love to open up that conversation for you guys, I am going to go ahead. It's been about an hour right now. It's been a fun evening space. Lots of different topics and stuff to talk through from the past week. But I do need to get. It's been a long week, man. I haven't even had time to unpack my bags yet, so need to probably head things off right here. But don't worry, I'll be hosting tons of other spaces throughout the week where we can dive into whatever you guys want to. Spaces, streaming, anything else. Make sure to look out for it. So it's obviously going to be a very, I think,
Stonks.
volatile week.
Stonks.
So we'll see how it all goes, man. But throughout everything else, Wonky Stonks are inevitable. Appreciate having you guys up here.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Love and light.
Love and light, my people.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.